The American financier J. Pierpont Morgan was once asked, "What's the key to commercial credit? Is it money or is it property?" Morgan said, "It's neither. It's character." Morgan said, "The richest man in the world, I would not lend to him if I didn't trust him." What Morgan was saying is that lending is all about trust. Now, to us in this room, that seems a bit antiquated, I think. We think lending is about risk, and risk is about data. But what if we could tap into human trust and apply that to lending? We think we have a way. Introducing StreetShares. Good morning. My name is Mark Rockefeller. This is Mickey Conson. StreetShares is based outside of Washington, D.C. We flew in last night. StreetShares is an online marketplace where small businesses pitch for a loan, and both retail and institutional investors compete to lend to them. StreetShares is bringing the peer back into peer-to-peer lending. StreetShares has three key distinctives. Number one, we use social affinity groups to create additional bonds of trust between borrowers and lenders. Trust equals greater savings for everyone involved. Number two, we have a fully transparent marketplace in which institutional and retail investors compete side by side to lend. And number three, co-investment. StreetShares ourselves co-invests in each and every loan. Now, we're focused on the small business lending market in the United States, especially loans below $100,000. This is a $137 billion market. We are here to demo our new retail investor auto invest feature and also to find partners to help us conquer the US small business lending market. You can find us at the end of this presentation in the back side of the room on the left side. Before I turn things over to Mickey, I want to comment just a minute on our Affinity Model. Peer-to-peer lending started here in the UK before expanding globally very rapidly. When it got to the US, it's now called marketplace lending, with a real focus on institutional capital, and these platforms finding their borrowers through mainly the same ways. We believe the actual key to peer-to-peer lending is to reach back to those origins that were started right here in the UK. We use affinity groups, veterans funding veterans, female executives funding female executives, alumni of the same school funding alumni of the same school, to create additional bonds of trust between lenders and borrowers. Those bonds of trust then decrease the cost to lend. And now Mickey will demonstrate the platform for us.
Good morning. The first thing I would do if I was on the StreetShares platform as an investor is have a look at my portfolio, which would show me where my cash allocation is, any bids that I might have done, as well as what my investments are. If I actually wanted to make an investment, I would go to the Invest tab, where I would see a number of tiles of businesses that are available for investments. If we focused on one in the middle here for a minute, Robert Andrews Medical Corps. The tile gives you a summary of what the business is, what they're looking for, what their estimated loss rate is, essentially estimated loss rate of businesses that are similar to this one, what amount they're looking for, in this case $50,000, their term, 3 years, and the average rate of the auction. If I click through, I could actually notice what activity is going on the auction, and what you'll notice here, these are all the bids, is that I have both institutional investors, here's Hillsborough Investments, as well as retail investors, side by side competing for the same loan. Here you have a retail investor, I Support Vets, which is clearly an affinity investor. Understanding more about the business is key, so I could click through and understand more about the actual business itself. There are links to the website of the business as well as social media links. There is a pitch, which can be as large or as small as the business would like it to be. In this case, they've actually added in additional downloads, in this case, what their revenue growth is. Financials, and these are actually vetted by us. So here we have their revenues, their cash. You can understand what their financial ratios are, what the debt position is. And of course, we tell our investors exactly where this information comes from and how it is validated so they can understand what weight to put on these metrics. We tell you more about the owner. In this case, this is a veteran. It's actually a husband and wife couple, both veterans. And so we tell you that the primary guarantor is a veteran from the United States Air Force with 20 years of active duty service. And if we wanted to place a bid, what I would do is on a loan-by-loan basis, I would go in, place my bid amount at $100, and I would put it at the StreetShares recommended rate, 12.25%. Once I placed my bid, it would actually tell me what my return is after fees and losses, and I would place the bid, and you'll notice that the bid shows up here. Until now, that has been the way that our marketplace operates. We have just launched a new feature called Auto Invest, which essentially allows you to set parameters, and then the platform essentially places bids for you in auctions. Here I will turn the Auto Invest feature on. I can determine what my risk profile is: low risk, low return, medium, high, or all. I'm going to select all in this case. And this is where I can select which affinity I'm interested in. I'm going to select the veteran and business affinity here. I can either put in a dollar amount or a percentage of loan, and I'm going to put this one in at below the StreetShares rate. Save changes, and then when I go back to my Invest tab, what we'll notice is that the platform has now placed bids for me. Here you'll see the $175 bid at 50 basis points below the StreetShares rate, and that is essentially how this works. Finally, when I go back to my portfolio, you will notice that a number of $175 bids have now been placed on all open loans across the platform, automatically participating me into the auctions that are out there.
To wrap up, recall that StreetShares is putting the peer back in peer lending in the US market. 3 distinct features: a marketplace in which retail and institutional investors compete side by side, the use of affinity groups to increase trust between borrowers and lenders, and StreetShares co-invests in every single loan. We'll be in the room on the back side on the left. If you're interested in the $137 billion US small business lending market, please come and speak with us. Thank you.